Reggae is a drumbeat of resistance, and Rastafari is a spirit of liberation. Together they chant down Babylon, awaken consciousness, and call the people to rise in truth and unity. And this is a quote from yours truly, and this quote addresses one of the main reasons I created Hippie-Fari, the beautiful life-changing message of reggae music. It was created for social change, and its message is as strong today as it was in the 60s when the first reggae records were released in Jamaica. So welcome to another episode of Hippie-Fari Reggae Radio and Podcast, recorded live in the Omen Honey Reggae Radio and Media Studios in the beautiful Ocala National Forest in Florida. I am your host, Scotty the High-Strung Hippie, and Hippie-Fari is a podcast where we discuss all things reggae. So if reggae music is your thing, you're in the right place. Now tonight we have our special guest back in the studio. We're excited to be doing a monthly with the official reggae band of Hippie-Fari Reggae Radio and Podcast, Cultivated Mind. Now, we wanted to partner with a band that defines this podcast and this media project perfectly. And this band, from their lyrics to their music to their demeanor, on and off stage, at personal level, everything they stand for is the epitome of everything we stand for at Hippie-Fari. And let me go ahead and take a moment to tell you exactly how much this community means to me. You know, Cultivated Mind is the official reggae band of Hippie-Fari Reggae Radio and Podcast, but I just had a tragedy happen in my family. My beautiful mother, she's a revolutionary woman, did a lot for women's rights in the school system and a lot for special education. She passed away, and the VB Reggae community, Virginia Beach Reggae community, and more so, Mr. Tony Brand of Cultivated Mind came out, and they just literally rallied around me, made sure that I was doing okay, helped me in my time of need. Tony called me every single day to make sure that I was doing okay, and he's still doing that, man. And I just want to say that is what community is all about. That is what reggae music is all about. And they don't just sing and play reggae; they actually live it. So it's an absolutely beautiful thing. And I just wanted to thank you so much for that, man. It's definitely much appreciated, and it's a beautiful thing. I can't really put it into words. So just thank you so much for that, man.
Of course, man. Sorry again for your loss. And, you know, as I said before when we were talking, obviously, you know, you got a lot of your mom's spirit and you. But Virginia Beach, your family with us now. So, you know, anything that we can do, you know, we're happy to do it. And we appreciate all you're doing by giving the guys from our neighborhood a platform and a voice out here in the big world of reggae. So, again, I know you're going through a lot, and it's hard to, in the same sentence, cheer you on, you know, while
Right.
I'm saying, you know, sorry about your mom. But I just want you to know that you're an inspiring cat, and you're kind of shaking the dust off a lot of us out here and getting us moving again. So thank you, Scotty, for inspiring the people in Virginia Beach. And like I said, looking out for the guys that have been really trucking here a long time and could use a voice. So thank you, brother.
Absolutely, man. Well, that's a beautiful thing. And I tell you what, man, it was kind of funny. I was like, you know, it's, you know, they say home is where the heart is, but I mean, that very well could be so. But I do love my Florida reggae family, my Florida reggae community, but I will always, especially now after being to Virginia Beach, meeting so many of you guys, going to Point Break Festival, which I can't wait to talk about, and everything that's gone on, you guys stepping up to help me out so much, I will always, until the day I die, consider myself a part of the VB reggae community and family. Even though I don't live there, I'm definitely a part of it, man, because it's the definition of a beautiful, thriving reggae scene and a community. And you guys don't only sing about it and talk about it, you live it. So I am honored to know you guys. And, you know, I'll call it scene hopping if you want to. I'm hopping right on over there, man. And I'm just saying, I'm so proud to be a part of that community, man. So thank you so much.
We're honored to know you too, bro. And your squad down in Virginia Beach has been extremely good to us too, man. Reggae Lou has looked out for us.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
man. Ricky Balufe has looked out for us, and Mad Mello and a bunch of people down there have been really good. Man, big up to the Florida Cannabis Festival people, Zik Productions. All those cats, half of Space Campus Florida people.
And the One Love Fam Jams crew, shout out to Shannon, Dana, and Rosie.
Touchy and Rosie. Yeah, Jessica, man, the whole crew. Yeah,
yes, Jessica M, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're
I love
all
those
beautiful
guys, man.
people. Yes, and like I
Yeah,
said, it's a beautiful thing. Obviously Florida reggae is my heart soul, but after being a part of the crew, it's nice to be a part of multiple communities. You know what I mean? It's building that bridge, like we have talked about plenty of times before, man.
yes.
So
East Coast is
this
figuring
is
it out.
definitely a beautiful.
We're figuring it out. We
That's
might be a
it.
little late in the game. We're crabby dudes, but I think we're all starting to get like, unity is good for everybody, and the only way that you can really
That's
grow is together.
that's right, and that's funny. Kira just laughed when you said that we're crabby dude. We are, man. Um, but I mean, it's crabby, yes. Real, yes. You know what I mean? Sometimes
Yeah,
the world, sometimes you just, things just make you like kind of rub you the wrong way, and I think there's some things that it's okay to be crabby about sometimes, bro.
I think and I don't normally quote Shakespeare, but I was an English major and I paid for my
Yes.
school, so I paid attention. So
Yeah,
I made sure I
absolutely.
didn't waste the money.
Amen.
Yeah, to quote, I think it's Shakespeare, man. But too much honey will make you sick, and like
Right,
anything
right, right.
else,
Amen.
honey is great and it's wonderful. Too much will make you sick. It's good to be real. It's good to be straight up with people. Unfortunately, there's also the other side of that where it's like you also may come across as a dick sometimes. So yeah,
Right. Which I think we
everything's
both
balanced.
have before.
Yeah, it's balance, equilibrium. You can't have one without the other. So, but I think
Absolutely.
that's also what makes the East Coast an awesome place. Is
Amen.
the musicians out here have a little more teeth on them and a little more style, and I feel like that's something that we've always kind of been a home for is unique new sounds and really people always doing something different and kind of paving the way. So I'm
Yeah.
proud of the East Coast. I'm proud to
Amen.
be here from it. Even all you crabby mamma jammers out there, I'm proud to be from you guys too. So I think it's
Amen.
just differences in styles and approach to things and cultural differences. But I like our cultural differences. I'm cool with them.
I like all this. I like all the differences. You know what? Because I mean, even in my spiritual life, it's one truth, many paths. We've all got
Yes.
our own ways of doing things, but we're all going back to that, to that one music, which is reggae. So same thing can it can be used across the board, man. We're all different, but we all have the same vibe in mind, and that's a beautiful thing, man.
Hmm.
Awesome. Well, I had the unique opportunity of being able to be on stage with Cultivated Mind at Point Break Festival filming, and I can't wait for that podcast to come out. Me and my wife are working on it. We're going to do two, one about the festival and one specifically for Cultivated Mind. That was a very unique experience. It was so neat to be able to have the opportunity to be up and get up close and personal with you guys while you're playing your set. Now, from your perspective, how did it feel to be a part of that lineup? I know this was your second time at Point Break. Can you kind of just go, tell us a little bit about that feeling, man, hopping on that stage with your hollow body guitar and just and ripping it up for the crowd, man.
There's many layers to the onion. So, for one, just to be on the stage with some greats. I got to talk to Al Anderson, who you've done the interview
Yes.
with.
Shout out
Uh,
Al Anderson.
Yeah, what a really nice, genuine cat, and it was cool to get to talk to some heroes. A lot of the bands too that we've opened for, played with over the years, like Dale and some of those cats. It's
Yeah.
nice. Ashley LaRue, One Culture, a little
Yes.
bit of a family reunion for a lot of us too. And the movement guys are nice. So it was nice to go and see some people that we've done gigs with over the years, and
Yep.
because we don't make it out to Cali a lot. Us East Coast guys, we go up north, south, and then we stay there.
That's it.
So it's
And we might
nice to
make it up
see
to
some
Jamaica,
friends.
the Virgin Islands, but yeah.
Yeah, I'll go that far down, but I don't usually go out west. So, and I think farthest west we've been really is Ohio. So I really enjoyed getting to see some people again. Got to talk to Matt Link from the Elevators, who was very nice, and just
Yes.
a lot of
Great
folks
guy.
that it was one of those times where. Yeah, man, it was really nice having a conversation with him, and people that I didn't know were encouraging the music, and rooting for us. So that was really sweet. But I think that, and then personally, man, we haven't done a band in forever, and so I wanted to have a band that really represented like the Hampton side of things. That kind of, in the great scheme of Virginia reggae, is really where a lot of roots reggae musicians come from, and a lot of these bands
Yes.
come from. And we go play in Virginia Beach, but like Hampton kind of always gets sometimes when it comes to being on people's radar for reggae music. So and it shouldn't be that way. So I kind of wanted to
Right.
bring. Some of the Hampton guys over the bridge. Smithfield, too. We had Quee Smith from Lost Soul Society. Please check them out. I love them. United Souls, who
Yes.
was like one of my biggest influences as a band, also heavyweights, and been around for decades, and
Yes.
multiple different singers and members. Gabe came up playing keys in them, and I knew he was good. I didn't know he could rip. You know what I'm
You
saying?
had,
I knew he could bubble. I
yeah,
didn't know he had
man.
jazz licks under his up his
Yeah.
sleeve. So to get to
Your
see,
whole band. You had an entire stage of frontmen, bro.
yeah, look, man, I feel really lucky about that, and that part was a dream. So, and for people who haven't seen the band in 5-6 years, to not just come back with a band or hired guns, but to come back with like the homies. And to have,
Yes.
we had guys that had left and come back. We ain't seen TC on a drum kit in a long time. And when they
He's a
wheeled him out,
shredder.
yeah, it was insanely tough on the kid. He creates sawdust literally every time he plays after
Oh
vacuuming it
yeah,
up
man. Yeah, when
after
I was
practice.
filming him, the wood was definitely hitting me.
Yeah. Like I have to vacuum every time he plays because it's just sawdust next to the
That's
kit.
cool.
And Hambone, man, on sax and percussion with Sanchez.
Yes.
It was
And then Jordan
nice.
Weekly coming out, throwing down some.
Yeah, so we wanted a Virginia Beach representative, and I always like jamming with Jordan on stage. I
Yeah.
always like his rhymes. His vibe on stage is very much like I'm with the crowd,
Yep.
and like he's not detached when he's
No.
up there performing. So, and we wanted somebody, since we had so many Hampton guys. I was like, yo, we need to get a rep for Virginia Beach up there, man. So
Yeah.
Virginia Beach people know we love them, and I was like, who
Yes.
better for the ambassador for Virginia Beach reggae, than the man who's always passing them over to guys on the road and looking out for a lot of the Virginia Beach cats. Been on trips with me to shows, man.
Right.
But we love Jordan a lot, and he's a
I
fearsome lyricist.
Yes.
So
I
nice to
truly
get
love him too, man. He from the second I met him, before the show to becoming friends on Facebook, like he's very interactive. He's an extremely cool dude. I don't have enough. I couldn't say enough about every single person that was on stage with you that day. But Jordan Weekly's definitely a really, really stand-up guy, man. Just super, super incredible human being, bro. But
Yeah,
that can be
and
said about all of you guys.
and the unsung hero of the day, man, who showed up and kind of. And we're trying to figure out a way to make it so he can mix from stage and do scientist stuff. But Lucian Ford from FM Audio and
Yes.
a million great bands like Knuckle also helped start the Goodfoot. Like really amazing multi-instrumental, just a wizard. And so we wanted him on the set too as well. And even though they have their own mixing people for that stage, Jim was cool and
Yep.
let him get up and dub some tunes.
Yep.
You can kind of hear him going off on the Cultivate Your Mind one where
Yep. Really cool.
Jordan gets up and rap. Yeah, you can hear the drums start dubbing heavy, and I love it.
Yep.
Yeah, Lucian's always been one of those guys, man, that's kind of been like, I don't know, man. He's very much another captain of the ship and has helped us a lot and has been a real wizard for us when we need him. So he's not on stage. He's a sound man for us. I mean, he's a brilliant drummer, too, and like I said, plays a million instruments and a great producer and recording engineer. But in our outfit, man, he started off, as being a sound man for us, and he doesn't get enough credit because he's always behind a wall or
Of
a
course.
tent or a bunch of stuff,
Yeah.
But
Like the
big up
kicker
Lucian.
on a football team. That's how I feel when I'm playing percussion. I'm like, it's so funny, man. We'll be doing sound, and the drummer's like, I need to hear what everybody's doing except Scotty, because I'm percussion. I'm like, nobody cares. I'm like
Just
the
to
kicker on
kill
the
his
football
channel.
team. But when
Yeah,
it
yeah.
matters, it matters. When that one beat hits, it's like, ooh, I'm glad that bongo player was there to pop that.
Yeah. Everybody loves
But
it when you hit the final field goal and win the game.
yes. But
Yeah.
I got the unique opportunity with you to come right back to your house right after the festival and do a great interview. My wife did was able to record it, and I was looking at her. I was like, "Remember, we got that interview with Tony on the phone?" And she looked at me like, "What are you talking about?" Now I had to mention it so she could hear what I was talking about. But it was a great interview. Literally, the day of after the show, so we were both fired up, and it was just a beautiful thing. So that's going to be on the podcast. I cannot wait to get that out too, man. So just
Nice.
a lot of
For that
really
too.
really neat stuff, man. So. I got some great footage of the crowd before. I was able to run up and down, the barricade, and everyone's screaming. They got Cultivated Mind banners hanging. People are like, "Yeah." How was that energy at this show versus the past shows? Because to me, that was some energy, man. You had some straight up fans there that were screaming at the top of their lungs, waiting to hear you guys. And then when you guys came on, it was just balls to the speakers the whole time, man.
No, we're lucky to have some really great people in our squad and fans that we consider family. They do stuff without pay and without asking and just do it and like have been, I don't know, have blood, sweat, and tears have come from Ben and Wendy and their family too. So you know, I can't say enough about the Harrises, man. And if I ever got something tattooed on my body, it would be their name. So like, I love those people. Great. Mr. Michael Adam Sherwood from Warfare Clothing. He made hats and stuff and handed out stuff during the festival, during the show, so people could rock our hats during the set. Big up Warfare Clothing. He does a lot of our like mesh trucker hats and some of our stickers. And of course, Glenn from VB Reggae came through with T-shirts for us to throw out on stage, which was awesome. So thank you, Glenn. Glenn always surprising us with stickers and stuff like that, man, and has been very supportive over the years too. And obviously is the glue in VB Reggae. You probably know that name, anybody who's listening. So, and there's an interview with him on here, so check that out too. But we had the crew really come through, man, and like I'm forgetting people. Squints Live showed up and went live. Big up to Jamie for doing a live cut of streaming the video while we were playing. He's been awesome too, and rallies the troops when we're up north. And of course, Hippie-Fari was there. To film us, man, which we really appreciate and can't wait for those in the interview. And then the folks that I feel like, I don't know, man, they don't get enough of a shout out, but Rise and Vibes Jam Sessions, who was kind of very similar to One Love Fan Jams in Florida. But Scott, Amber, Josh, really the whole crew's, man's been, Lucian's part of their squad too. But like they've been instrumental in giving us a platform and always showing up with our shirts on and rallying us, taking footage, making promos. Thank you, Josh, for doing that. Check out his crew too, 7 Vibe Syndicate. But he also works with Rise and Vibes and made a really nice promo video with footage from the previous year that they turned into something to big up the festival. So Rise and Vibes has been awesome. We love them too, man. Really, the whole crew out there is fantastic. And you know, I know a bar scene sometimes can be a little rough, and you find some squirrely folks. We have too, but the majority of people that we found, even just in our younger years jamming at bars before we started playing bigger shows, have all been really awesome and encouraging. And the Roots crew has been great, man. You know, Gus, Tez, all the folks that used to come out to Norfolk when we would play like the small pizza shops, all those guys still root us on and come to our shows, man. So to see everybody together and chanting the songs and also us doing different versions of stuff, knowing that people have heard, maybe a couple people in the crowd have heard those songs a million times, so we did them in a different format or linked them with 3 of the songs and did some. It gave us a chance to kind of be creative because we knew people were rooting us on and we didn't want to give them the same show. You know, but a big up to all the crew. No, I'm going to say this throughout the podcast a lot, but to Queese, to Jeremy, to TC, to Hambone, and of course Big Brother Gabe, man, Lucian and Jordan. We wouldn't have been able to pull that off without everybody coming together and really working hard. And it sounded like we've been playing together a long time, but we haven't. We all played in each other's bands to help fill spots and like know each other's music, but that was the first time a lot of those guys got to like sit in the studio with me and go over tunes and work on Cultivated Mind music. And like I really appreciate that. It's a weird thing, man. You never expect people would want to play your music, and you really never expect that guys have their own bands where they're the front men or their own projects, and that they'll take time to play keys for you or bass or whatever it is, man. So so I'm extremely blessed. I don't know, man, it was a humbling experience overall. I'll say that. Really like let me know people are good. You know what I'm saying? Like, reminding me of the goodness in people coming together for that show. So
absolutely, 100%, man. So thank you so much for that, man. Well, yes, it was an absolutely phenomenal show, man. So what I know you mentioned speaking to Al Anderson, which was pretty freaking incredible. People don't know who Al Anderson is. You know, is one of Bob Marley's original guitar players. Was there any like memorable moments kind of backstage or during the set? I know you mentioned Jordan when he was out there, you know, having your guy throw the dub drums on there. Were there any other like memorable experiences, you know, that you kind of stuck out to you? You know what I'm saying?
I think like from our performance, yeah, a few, and from some other performances, I thought so too. For our performance, just having TC wheeled out on the drums was epic. But getting to see Gabe step up to the front and really rock the crowd. We've been working on Dealer Man with Queese for a while, and I don't think we've ever done like a version of it that sounded like the track. And I think, like for the first time, not even in practice, we got close there, but this was like the first time where I went, man, this is gluing together. And like I thought Queese really killed his part on that. I don't know, man. I really liked Sanchez was extremely tasteful with the drums and the percussion, and like we had like dub sections of parts where it was, you know, he could kind of expand a bit, really cut through the mix. He's a gangster with the congas, so. And then I don't know, I just getting to watch Mark wail on saxophone, since that's, you know, a big part of our history was, you know, Mark was in the band for at least 4 years, something like that.
Oh, he's a badass, bro.
Yeah, and like after things kind of got, you know, whatever you want to call it, rough for a minute with the whole band thing, man. You know, it was always in the back of my head, like, even though we were always friends, that like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna get these opportunities again, where it's just jamming on stage with this bad mamma jamma. So that was surreal for me, man. And then, you know, obviously everybody shouting the words and stuff was really cool. You know, that's always a thrill. But getting to watch like Ashley LaRue put on a really great set with like the Elephants Dancing guys and some of the guys from home, Rusty and David. You know, I thought that was really inspiring. I think she had one of the better sets. Kurt, Melodos, and Leo D'Amico really crushed it, man. Yeah, I thought they did a fantastic job. And the Wailers, man, I know there was some issues with technical difficulties, but once they got rocking, bro, that was what people needed. And I remember everybody was like, yo, are the Wailers playing yet? And then you just heard everybody chanting, and they were like, yep, let's go over there. So I thought that was really sweet. Yeah, Movement put on a dope set. There was a lot of great moments, but getting to talk to some of the guys backstage that like I've crossed paths with over the years, and I can be kind of a quiet guy when I want to be, and even though like when I get a microphone or if I get a little rowdy, sometimes I can be a pistol. But for the most
and you're
part,
not even
man,
drunk
I'm kind
when you do it. Most people are like, give me a couple beers. I'm good. No, you're just like, that's just you.
Yeah, I have a switch, and I try and keep it off for the most part, just so I don't cause problems for myself. But occasionally, you know, the switch goes off, and I start growling at people. But I get really insecure about my musical ability, and I didn't go to school to have lessons. So a lot of like, I'm always and I don't come from like a family that was like kind of like, this is a good idea. Like music was always kind of a hobby, and you're supposed to work like public works kind of jobs. That was always kind of the vibe I was raised with, or, you know, a regular career like engineer or something. And I was a teacher for a while, but that was like to go backstage. Usually I kind of stay in the corner, and I don't want to bother like famous people. So I've often missed a lot of opportunities, and I really don't know what most of the other musicians think of me. I just figure I'm the weird like juggalo left field guy, and you know.
Well, now
so
you know how I feel, bro, which is why we get along so well.
Thanks. Yeah, no, it's nice in left field, but I think I got to talk to a lot of people, man, that I didn't know were like super supportive of the music and had actually like known who we were already. And so I think getting able to talk to people and realize that I'm, you know, not completely like wrong in pursuing this career, and that some of the older brothers in the scene were kind of like, yo, man, keep doing what you're doing. I know people don't always get it because it's you and a bunch of keyboards and a, you know, TC rocking timbales. He's like, but as musicians, we get it. So, like, you know, the musicians got your back, and that was really inspiring to me. So, I don't know. Man. That's one of those I can die happy kind of things. I like it when fans like the music, but, like, you're a musician. If another chef likes your cooking, you know, you're just like, all right, cool. I'm going to keep cooking then. You know, sweet.
Pepper. Yep.
Yeah. That's a good thing and a great honor. So, that was nice, too.
Beautiful. And I have a really funny backstage story, too. Melodos. Whenever I first started the podcast, he was one of the first guys that I wanted to get on it. And, you know, he's very busy. He's a family man. And he's another one that practices what he preaches. You know, he takes care of his life. He does his thing. He's living the sober life in a very beautiful way. And he's very open about it, which is awesome, man, because I love people. Once again, I'm an open book, and so are you. I think people learn from folks like that, you know, because then people realize they're not alone. Well, I was backstage, and there's this guy walking past me, and his hat flies off, and he goes to grab it, and all of a sudden I got Gatorade all over me. I start laughing, look up. He looks up. I was like, holy shit, are you Melodos? He's like, yes, I am. And I was like, wow, man, that's awesome. Can I get a quick interview with you? He's like, you sure can. And sure enough, I just did a podcast with him a couple nights ago. So
yeah, Marco's a cool dude, man.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, you know, to literally have him spill Gatorade all over me was pretty awesome, because I was like, that's That's how cool things happen. You know what I mean? Like
now
you know,
you owe me an interview, Marco, and a shirt.
Exactly. But you could have had the attitude like, oh man, you just spilled shit all over me. And I was like, hell yeah, man. Melodose just spilled his drink all over me, and it just so happens he's a guy I wanted to talk to. What a great way to talk to somebody. I wish more people would spill their shit on me.
Yeah, Marco's dope. That's a great guy. If he spills a drink on you, man, like that's the guy you want to do it. Marco's always been really nice.
Oh yeah, yep. I'll just start going to reggae shows backstage and bumping into people with drinks and be like, yo, you just spilled your Coke on me, bro. You owe me a podcast.
It's a racket, man. Hippie-Fari, I got a racket, yo. Be careful.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Don't drink anything around Scotty, bro. He will trap you.
Yeah. He goes and interviews anyone holding the cup.
Yeah, exactly, right? That's so funny, man. Right on, dude. I mean, that was an absolutely beautiful thing. So, and I'm glad you guys were able to be on that. Me and my wife are so glad to be a part of it. Kira is not the on-camera type person, so she was up on stage filming you guys. Like, she would not look to her left of the crowd. She just stayed focused on you, and I was running around all over. So it was great. We got both sides. The one still Cameron, the one me running around getting everybody. So it was fantastic. I can't wait to put that out, man. But thank you so much for sharing everything about that.
Thank you, Scotty.
About the festival, man. And I have to ask you again because I'm so amazed that you're actually doing it. But 3 albums. We talked about them on the first one. We talked about them on the second one. We're talking about them on this one. What's the progress on those? I know you got one that's kind of like hip-hop oriented, one that's blues oriented, when you call it blues reggae, and one that's just, your kind of your regular style. Do we have a date? Kind of? Maybe?
No.
For this project? Or?
I have ideas. No. I have ideas. And, I wasn't going to... No.
But still in the works, man.
But... Yeah, so, I mean, I lost them, a couple of years ago. I've already talked about this on your podcast. So I'm not going to go over it again. But I lost, hard drive got corrupted. And it made that weird, meh sound. Yep. And I saw it coming, and I just still, I lost it. So, okay. I'm not in a super hurry to get things done because I already waited so long. But at the same time, I wasn't going to do the waterfall thing or whatever people say because I like albums as a piece so you can hear the songs back to back if you're into that kind of thing. And usually people who are listening to our music are already kind of weird like me. So they like weird shit and stuff in left field. So, to me, I'm like, I don't know, the few people that might dig this record are the people that I want to dig this record. So the 3 albums, I want to put out the hip-hop one second. Look, like I said, August was kind of like the planned date for the first one. If I can't get it done by August, I'm still going to have singles released in August. And one of them we just finished with Gabe from United Souls.
Nice.
We got Arise Roots' Kareem Israel is going to be on one. Yeah, that's sweet. Gary Dredd from a long time did one with us, and that was one of the ones I had to keep. I had to take the vocal part by itself and essentially rebuild the song around it. But
right.
And so that was tough, but we still have that. Jojo Pellegrino, who's a Staten Island, New York hip-hop legend and one of my favorite rappers, is on the track. Big up Carrie Bell for the connection on that.
Beautiful.
And then, of course, Queese is all over the album.
Yeah.
From Lost Soul Society. Gabe's on a couple tracks. Quindell from Strange Roots is on there.
Nice. Love Queese, love
just
Gabe.
A lot of family.
Man, I was so honored to meet them, man.
Yeah, they're wonderful guys, man. And honestly,
they certainly are, bro.
Real deal legends from the neighborhood. And and up and down the East Coast, man. United Soul's been going a long time. So has Lost Soul Society. And definitely I got lucky coming up with Lost Souls and being, essentially shown the right path by United Souls. So a lot of good souls covering Cultivated Mind, which I appreciate greatly. But sorry, go ahead.
No. I was going to say, and I'm really lucky to be able to be working with now at the event I have coming up in October for my nonprofit, Awaken on the River. Martinez, man, he's one of the guys, the old school guys in your camp.
Yeah, speaking of who went through United Souls camp, he was literally the front man for them for a while. And we've done tracks together too, man. And I know you mess with Vince Lee from our area too, so we've got some wonderful people out there. But right now, man, Martinez is on a rampage and is putting out music left and right, making videos.
He's in Jamaica right now, recording. Yeah.
Yep. I respect hard work a lot, so massive respect, Martinez.
Awesome, man. Well, we're definitely looking forward to everything that's coming out, man. Super stoked about it. Can't wait. I'm definitely excited about that blue reggae, but that's just me. I love the blues and the jazz and all that kind of stuff infused with reggae. It's absolutely incredible, man. But I've been hearing you kind of mess around with it a little bit tonight. I think you brought your git fiddle with you tonight, didn't you, man? Your acoustic.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. So what you got in store for us, man? What you gonna play?
A couple things, man. I don't ever get a chance to kind of talk about guitar playing, and I'm a big guitar
Right.
nut. So, a couple things, man. What I wanted to break down is just kind of how I come up with solos and stuff. And I know a lot of guitar players, when they're starting out, man, it's like licks and things are kind of come naturally, especially repetitive licks that you can kind of fit in the groove. But
Yep.
for a lot of folks, kind of like where to go and express yourself can kind of be tough. So I just wanted to kind of give a few pointers on just ideas you can use while you're soloing to kind of give your licks a little more flavor, a little more soul, and also, you know, to kind of help some things that maybe you thought were technically really hard, but really aren't that difficult if you break them down. So,
Well, that's a beautiful thing. I thought we were just getting songs, bro. This is exciting.
oh, I didn't know. We can do that too if you want. I thought it was just noodling.
No, 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 no. No, this is way cooler, man. No offense, I love your music. That's not what I meant, but this is awesome, man. Thank you so much. Definitely looking forward to that. Let's go for it, man. Let's hear it.
So every guitar player is an amalgam, or every musician, amalgam of your influences and then your own take and taste on things as well. So I think a lot of people, like one of my favorite comments, and I disagree entirely with it and agree at the same time. John Mayer had a quote where he said, like, you don't want to play your craziest run first, because then where the hell do you go from there?
Right.
I agree with that in a lot of extent, that you should kind of like build up a sense of like, you know, something more is coming as the solo builds. But I also like, it also pushes you to play better licks if you come right out the gate ripping. Then you got to beat whatever it is you just did. So,
Right.
and I also think that like some of my favorite solos start off ripping, and then it'll like kind of mellow out in the middle, and they'll play with like a little more soul and kind of draw you in emotionally, and then start ripping again. I don't really like jam to Guns N' Roses like at all, but Slash is a great example of a dude
Yes.
who will like rip hard and then kind of bring it in for a minute and go like, oh yeah, I got feel too, and then end it with just some banging rips. So I think there's guys like that. Steve Vai too, Tender Surrender.
Oh yeah, man.
Rips
Joe
and valleys.
Satriani.
Yeah, a lot of those guys have really good ability to take dynamics to a whole new level and really like suck you in with bringing the guitar low and slowing things down a bit and then ripping again. So I think solos don't just have a high and a low part. I think there's, you know, valleys and stuff and peaks that happen. But one of my favorite things is everybody talks about like sweep picking, which for those of you who don't know what sweep picking is, shout out to Rochelle Diggs, bass player, sweeps. You can do them pretty easily, but essentially dragging your pick over
Nice.
a broken chord. And you could use a lot of the chords you already have, like a basic minor chord. But what people don't do a lot with these, the classic like Davey Gilmour thing is to kind of sweep up into a bend or like
Nice.
something like that. But I love George Benson's approach. You'll hear him kind of doing licks where I'll just kind of give you an example. And instead of going up with these, he always drags them down. And it just has this
Right.
weird bubble feeling. And I don't hear guitar players do this a lot. I really only hear like Kenny Burrell, maybe Joe Pass a couple times, but Benson is the monster with this, where he'll play a lick, you know, something that's a little more on the blues end of things, like. And then out of there, he'll hit a high note or bend or something. And then go off of an arpeggio.
Nice.
Whatever it is. Rather than the normal jazz thing, which is to always go almost like gypsy jazz, Django Reinhardt, or go up the neck, which I honestly, I do that way too much. That's honestly a joke at this point because I always do that in a solo somewhere. But
Right.
I've learned also from watching Benson a lot and listening to his music that there's a whole nother, like the flourishing down or using the reverse sweep. To kind of work down your licks instead could be a nice way to finish going down rather than just down a basic arpeggio. So one thing I really like is like I guess what you would call like a reverse sweep, or not going the up way and just coming the reverse way. You can do regular arpeggios, but a little more feel if you can throw a little bit of reverse in there
Nice.
like that too, and break it up with a lick in between. So that's something you can do if you feel like you need something to kind of bridge your solos. And then don't always think of like what the arpeggio or the chord is that you're using. A lot of times if you want to get an awesome 7 arpeggio or a 9, you can do so like accidentally by connecting an arpeggio with the next arpeggio or the next chord in the run. So instead of thinking this is like an A minor arpeggio, I might think I'm going to slide this into the minor 7 and come down that way. That way you've got a more complex version of the same chord, and it doesn't change the color too much. Or instead of trying to attach 2 of the same arpeggios or an inversion with a 7 on the top, actually taking another arpeggio with it that's a different one along the scale or a different degrees arpeggio or chord can really give you a place to go. So instead of thinking about just trying to connect things on the one chord or embellishing one arpeggio, try and think about using the last note to connect yourself or halfway points to connect yourself to another arpeggio in the run. If you can do something with a change of a key to where it hits a mode, like a kind of like a Phrygian vibe,
Right.
coming off like that, now it doesn't seem as weird
Right.
because you've connected it back to the root. So I think there's a lot of things that when guitar players see things, they go, this is my lick. I do this one a lot. Especially when there's, and I don't want to be like racist, but whenever it's the 80s white rocker crowd. I know,
Right.
I know if I throw that in there somewhere, they're going to be like, yes! You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Of course, man. The finger tapping.
yeah, all that kind of stuff. All of those are things that people like really love to see, and they're not always the hardest, things to do. Really thinking ahead is the hardest thing to do. So what I would say to all your guitar players out there is don't just learn your scales. I know Yngwie Malmsteen tells you that harmonic minor is all you need, but it's not all you need, and it's sweet, but if you can do the same kind of runs in a chord, now you can bebop those.
Right.
With chromatic licks. And now you've got a whole nother run that you can use to take those harmonic minor runs you do to connect them to an arpeggio too. So the biggest thing that I can tell most guitar players is like, keep that eye forward on whatever the next lick is and try and make it something that is a continuous run. It doesn't always have to be the fastest thing, but if you can connect things by already knowing the progressions, then you'll have an easier time trying to change those up and not just using the same downward run, which I did that too. You can hear it on my records. You can hear me beating that one to death. And
right.
I think you hear me do it at shows too because it's comfy. But the biggest thing is always trying to connect to something different. And then the classic jazz adage of like, it's not really how you get there. It's, that you got there. So if
you get exactly.
I can take whatever route I want to get to A.
One truth, many paths, baby.
I can do blues, honky tonk, gypsy jazz, all of that in the same run, as long as I know where I'm trying to get at the end. So I can do some jazz, some old school, a little bit of Mississippi Delta in there, and then also throw in some of that, harmonic minor, fifth mode, whatever you want to call that, gypsy scale. I don't think they're supposed to say gypsy anymore, but a guitar playing is unfortunately outdated, and they don't call it the Roma scale yet. Sorry, folks. But that's a big, a part of kind of conceptualizing your licks is where am I going, and then what is my next step, rather than how fast I can play. And for people who have ever seen me play live, some, especially fellow musicians, all y'all are going, bull hockey, Tony, you overdo it and play way too many notes.
Yeah.
I know that. What happens when you let the guitar player run a reggae band? Us.
Amen.
So a lot more guitar solos. So I think that's like, a part of something, though, that we all came up with was how fast can I play these licks? Not thinking about that. After a while, you're just going the same lick over and over. Maybe you could attach it to something maybe 2 steps down in the arpeggio scale. Now it's already sounding a little more melodic and a little bit more comfortable. So attaching multiple arpeggios or even connecting inversions or a 7 version of the chord before you hit maybe a turnaround or something like that will give you a little bit more flavor. And I think that's like a kind of a philosophy that will help most guitar players out, is that you're not always trying to necessarily play as quick as you can, because if you don't have a destination, why are you rushing so fast to get there? So
Amen.
essentially, yeah, maybe there's a life lesson in there too.
I think so.
But that and the whole sweep it backwards thing, I really don't hear that as much. And whenever I hear that from somebody, it just makes me smile because there's a little bit of cheek to it, and it just reminds me of like George Benson classic solos of the the peeling off the chord backwards, like that. So if you want to get like the more gypsy jazz feel, flourish up. If you want to get more of the George Benson feel, kind of go backwards. And if you want to be a boss, do them both, and really add a little bit more flavor to your playing. And then the other thing is like, and this is probably the last thing I jibber jabber about too much about stuff, is finding a style. And I know we all want to be fusion musicians, but musicians in general, man, forget that you're part of a tradition, whether you want to be or not. The minute you pick up that instrument, that microphone, that drum, that bass, whatever it is, you're part of thousands of people who, if you're into flamenco, that kind of stuff, you want to know where this music comes from and why they played it in the mountains, and that people, Roma gypsies came and brought this to Spain, and that they were not respected for the music, and that's why this music has just the guitar, because you were out in the mountain hiding somewhere, or whatever it is that you were doing at the time. Obviously, when there was the Spanish Civil War, like things didn't get better for that community. So, and of course, once things calm down, now all of a sudden it's, oh, this is Latin music, this is flamenco, this is Spanish music. And it's like, yeah, well, it wasn't like 100 years ago, and you guys did not like these people. So I think there's
Right.
it lets you know why things are played the way they are. And I think blues is similar to that too. You always, like, Latin music has a hotness to it, where you just always want to keep moving and get away, and you can keep building tension the whole time, and it doesn't seem bad. It's just what goes with the music.
Yep.
Just keep
I love
building
it.
tension.
Yeah,
Everywhere to
like
keep
in the
things going.
scenes in the movies, like what you just played was a typical guy just robbed a bank, getting away from somebody. You know what I mean?
That kind of stuff. It just makes people.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a chase scene in a movie.
Exactly. Yep.
And that kind of music too. Like I said, there's a spirit to that and a history for that too. And Andre Segovia turning it into essentially solo guitar pieces. Paco de Lucia taking it to the world. Charo, who does not get enough credit for bringing flamenco to people because of the coochie coochie thing and all that. They really
We love Charo, bro.
Yeah, Charo's bad, man, and I don't know why
Fuck
people
yeah,
like
she
don't
is.
count her. Yeah, people never count her in like the greatest guitar players. I'm like, oh, Charo was nasty. But there's a lot of
You
that,
know who
man.
else
And
was a
now-
beast, man? Prince.
Yeah, Prince was gangster at everything.
Oh yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Keyboards, bass,
Amen.
drums, you name it. But yeah, the classic "My Guitar Gently Weeps" solo he did at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is famous, and for good reason. Dude could really put emotion into the guitar.
Certainly.
But yeah, I feel like knowing those traditions, where they come from. My both sides of my family are very traditional families. We're very much Americans, but my mom's side still has a lot of Italian traditions. My dad was from Germany. So they, when I was growing up, I saw cuckoo clocks, pewter, and, Spätzle gravy and all that kind of stuff. So my family held on to a lot of this stuff, and I think it's what gave us good grounding. And I think in a lot of ways, man, if you can figure out kind of where the people are coming from, you never know what somebody's struggle or history is because it's not yours. But you can have some kind of attempt at understanding on a human level what people were trying to get through in their art if you're a human being. And so I think a lot of that too, man, blues, the desire for all the licks to kind of go home to a rest. You might have build up, but getting home is the key. And I think that there's like a speaks to also where blues comes from too. And so I think a lot of different music, if you can find kind of the history behind it, if you do a little bit of the research and realize that you're not just carrying a guitar, you're carrying Robert Johnson, you're carrying all these people that came up through the years that maybe didn't have the access or didn't have the chops, or like Charles Mingus, who when he was younger was kind of poo-pooed because he couldn't read sheet music, and now his pieces are in the library.
Eddie Van Halen couldn't read sheet music either, man.
Yes, and so there's greats that there's part of a tradition where they had to fight to get recognized, and now you can just pick up a guitar player and learn from a half-dressed chick on playing on a YouTube.
Well, dude,
which I don't know what that
absolutely.
Deal is, but
I mean, there's composers. What were the blind composers? They certainly didn't read sheet music.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
And
I mean, yeah, I'm
it's
with
not
you.
necessary to your learning. But it
Yeah.
does help. And when I learned sheet music, there was a lot of stuff that went like fifths and things like that really made sense. But
Right.
I think for most people who were, who were coming up in a traditional genre, whether it be something like salsa, where you have Eddie and Charlie Palmieri keyboardists that really
Yes.
stamped
Huge
it with
salsa
that
fans.
sound, or Tito Puente, and a lot, or reggae, where you have Wrangling, and people don't think of reggae as a jazz genre, but it is kind of the early reggae, and whatever Ernest Wrangling is doing right now on his records, it's playing
Certainly.
Tico Tico and stuff is monstrous, and I think a lot of people don't realize that most of these dudes had to fight to get their sound out. They weren't respected. What you're doing is like literally wasn't just strings. It's a group of people. If you play banjo, man, it's the history of your people living in the mountains and surviving, doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I think whatever it is for Italians, man, guitar and strings and trumpets. My family literally got to this country playing trumpet. One of us did. My uncle played trumpet and played it at my wedding. Played the tarantella. Big up Uncle Kevin. And so I
That's
think.
beautiful, man.
Yeah, and I was always attracted to trumpet, didn't really know why, and my grandma didn't even tell me that junk that someone came playing guitar, mandolin, and his brother or whatever came playing trumpet. Some of our people were like glass people and stuff, but she said a couple of dudes from Calabria literally came as like instrument players, and that's what they played. And like I've always been attracted to trumpet. My uncle played one, and even though I've
My
never
wife's
been really,
dad, Kira's dad, was a big trumpet player.
nice, yeah, it's
Yep.
definitely like a memorable instrument, and like it's
Yep. Shout
part
out
of a
Jim Dye.
family thing. Say that again.
No, I said shout out Jim Dye to her dad. God rest his soul. He was a big
Sorry
trumpet
to hear
player
that.
as well.
Sorry to hear
Yep.
that, but yeah, it's definitely like those are family traditions too, and you don't realize like, oh man, this was literally like how some of us got here was playing these instruments, and
Yep. Can I ask you a question real quick about the guitar, man?
Sure.
But so I love ska, obviously. I love reggae, obviously. Is it true? It's like the same, but isn't ska the upstroke and reggae the down? Because I'm not a
No,
guitar player, I'm a percussionist, but isn't like the chink, chink, chink in ska,
there's
is
a
that up
whole
and then reggae is down, or what's
yeah, there,
the?
yes, to an extent.
Okay, cool.
There's also rock steady, and it's also how the guitar
Yes,
player plays it. We think of
I love
this
rock. I think rocksteady's
as
closer to
being
reggae than ska is for me, but
yeah, but if you play like ska, typically it's on upstrokes. Typically reggae is
yeah,
downstrokes.
okay.
And
Yeah,
Rocksteady
okay,
is kind of what we call push and pull, not quite swung,
yeah,
not quite straight.
sure,
But I think for a lot of like guitar players too, you hear the bass differences. Whereas reggae will have typically wildly syncopated bass lines
oh
that leave
yeah,
out certain things and hit other things.
yep,
Big up to
right.
10 Foot Ganja Plant. and,
Love Kendrick Ganja
I
Plant,
was like,
bro.
yeah, where's that lick from? Like a 10 Foot Ganja Plant.
Yep,
But yeah, big
incredible.
up. So like those kind of like what we call stuck lines, where the guitar's playing the same thing as the bass player's playing, and that's the main lick. Reggae really put bass in the front rather than ska, which
Certainly,
had a walk to it usually, which was trying to imitate American jazz, like the
right.
doom ding doom ding ding.
Yep,
So you get that kind of feel with ska too, because the bass is walking like a jazz band. And you didn't really
right.
have like you had more like boom on the hi hats, whereas like reggae really was like almost played militantly on the drums.
Certainly. Yep, yep. And your
You
first
got
and your
tighter
third. Yep.
rolls. Yeah, so I think there's a couple differences between ska and reggae. And a lot of it has to do to me with like, yeah, it's literally ska's twice as fast. And so you're
Yes.
counting, there's no one drop. It's counted almost like rock, whereas reggae is counted where the
Right.
drop is on the third, rather than
Yep.
accenting 2 and 4 for claps or snare.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think that's a big difference too in the bass walking in a lot of ska though. Like that's one of those things that really gives ska almost like a cheeky bounce, whereas reggae,
Yep.
that bass is helping you remind you that we are low and fat,
Yeah.
and that's what we're
Yep.
going for.
And I feel more like if I had a ska song to listen to, obviously ska and rocksteady were reggae's roots, but I think obviously to me rocksteady sounds more reggae than ska does. You know what I mean? But that's just because I've listened to. I don't know. I mean, they all are very similar, but I feel like rocksteady is more has more of the reggae sound to it. More of the traditional reggae sound. I feel like is rocksteady. Like I said, they both do, but even Bob Marley's first songs that came out, they sound like Coffee on Beverly's Records. They sound straight up ska, 100%.
Yeah.
But it's
No, lot of your Studio One stuff definitely has that vibe, and it's almost like mixed with Motown. You
Sure.
have like big background singers and like a nice punchy horn line, but it's not like Scatolites, Wood and Water,
Yes.
where it's like a football epic. Sounds like
Yeah.
Monday Night Football horns going off. But
Skylights were
those are
amazing,
cool.
bro.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wranglin's one of my favorite guitar players. Rico Rodriguez, Tommy McCook, like all those guys were legends, man. And
Yep.
we learn from those dudes. Like everybody I've ever played with, all of us have like mad respect for Wranglin, and I don't know a single guitar player in reggae music that doesn't kind of drop his name. And it kills me how like you don't ever see him on like top 50, 100 guitar players, and I'm like, bro, he's one of the nastiest. Who else is that age too, and like shredding cleanly with no distortion and just
Right.
really jazz music. Played with like Dizzy Gillespie and
Yes.
backed greats that came through the Caribbean, and was the BBC One guitar player. And for some reason, man, he like doesn't get a shout amongst the people. But if you talk to like musicians, they're all like, Wranglin was the dude, is the
Right.
dude.
Right. Yep.
Still to this day. And if people who go reggae is just a chicka and that's it on guitar, please check out
That's
any
insane.
Ernest Wranglin record.
Yep.
He invented the chicka. That's
Yes.
the dude.
Exactly.
See where he took reggae and what he thought it should go to, especially the new record. I heard his version of Tico Tico where he's doing like Latin cuts. It's not
Right.
even reggae. Man, it's insane. It's one of the fastest versions I've ever heard, and still buttery smooth. But
It's fantastic.
yeah, him, Dean Fraser, Monty Alexander, Jamaica's like musicians that really like spawned the 70s, 60s sound.
Yep.
Are phenomenal, man, and they don't get rated because people in America hear guitar, and if you're not going
Right.
or playing
Yep.
Freebird or something like that, and million notes or
Right.
whatever, and screaming on it, they're like, nah. And when they hear the guitar just going, they don't get that the bass is supposed to be the focus. They just can't get
Right.
over the guitar playing. So that's why I'm just like, you gotta, if you're one of those people that think reggae is just chicka, please go check out Ernest Wranglin, the guy who invented chicka or a skank, and see where he took that idea over the
Amen.
years, and you'll go, all right, man, reggae is a lot more complex, really, musically than I gave it credit for.
Absolutely. It is. It is extremely complex, man. Yeah, that's what a lot of people don't understand. With the beat hitting on the third, a lot of it. There's a lot more to it than. But even playing the quote unquote chick or the skank is not easy. People can play chords all day long. To be able to do that correctly is not easy, in my opinion.
Bro,
You don't just
everybody
pick
be
it up
doing
and
this.
do it.
No, don't do that. Keep that junk tight, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But people just be lazy about it sometimes. And sometimes it
Right.
works, but you can't just be hitting willy-nilly low notes and junk. And I think if you can watch Bob play, man, he don't even hit the bars and the low notes. He'll just be holding like the top end of a bar chord. So he only
Right.
hits the mid-range meat and a little bit of that bright end. So there's
Yep.
a trick to chicka chicka as well that people don't
100%.
necessarily give a lot of credit to,
I love that, man. Well, dude, that was a giant surprise. I had no idea that I was going to get a straight up lesson from the maestro, man. That was absolutely incredible. Thank you, man. And for anybody out there listening, take heed. If you've heard Cultivated Mind's music, then hopefully you paid attention. Absolutely incredible stuff, man. Thank you so much for that, brother. I truly appreciate it. Now, I wish I lived in Virginia Beach because I'd love to take lessons from you, bro. Maybe we can do them over the computer.
That'd be dope, man.
Yeah. Last week, man, I've been getting calls from friends. Hey, man, do you know somebody that can fill in? Somebody that can play? Somebody that can play? I just need an acoustic guy to play. And I was like, you know what? In 6 months, I'm going to say, yeah, me. I know how to play chords. I know how to do all that. But I just need to sit down and actually practice and fine tune the game. But I'm like, I should be that guy, So,
I
but
can help you get there, bro. We can get you.
I
doing
know
it.
you can. 100%. I've got the guitar, so I'm ready to rock and roll, man.
Sweet. I would be honored to teach you, Scotty. For real.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I would be honored to learn from you, bro. I know I'd be learning from one of the best. It's an absolute fact. So that's very
I
cool,
don't know
man.
about all that, bro. I'm a forever student, but I like making other people forever students too.
Oh, 100%. I am too, man. With everything I do, you know what I'm saying? If you ever feel like you've learned everything, that's amazing. I mean, I want to know you.
Yeah. Where's your
You know
shirt?
what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly.
No, I feel you, bro. I will tell this for every guitar player out there, and this was. I came at the advent of YouTube. Like, I've been around a minute, and I don't want to say too much and make myself uncool and date myself. But I was around, like, I remember when YouTube was first popping, you know what I'm saying? And people
Oh
actually
yeah.
started looking up music on it. And I remember seeing some kid, like, put down a bowl of, he had to be like 11, put down like a
Right.
bowl of cereal, like yawned. It was just, oh, the most arrogant thing I've ever seen. But because he was like 7 or 8 or whatever he had to be,
Right.
10 years old, I don't know. The kid was, I keep going, he's 2 years old. Like, 1 year old
Right.
kid. Sorry. I don't know. I don't know how
He
old he
was
was, but he
just
was young.
born.
Bro, he like yawned, put down a bowl of cereal, and then just started sweet picking like all up down the neck, and then just like, and then stopped and the
Right.
video cut. And I was like, that's humbling, because no matter how wicked you think you are, how much your fingers bled, or you put in years and work, there's always some 10-year-old down the block who hasn't even busted out of his house yet, who can school
Right.
the living snot out of you, and tell you
Yep.
how your picking's messy or whatever it is. So,
Yep.
like, I think that too, man. For all musicians who think you're wicked or you're done, I know a lot of guys who are touring and they can play 3 chords and they think, I'm good. You're not good, man. Treat your tradition like what it's supposed to be. Really put in the hours of it. Care about the music you're putting out. And, like, if you feel like you got it, go watch some kid on YouTube do it
Right.
you know, in a Sesame Street shirt. Go sit there and shred it
Right.
up as fast as he can and school you. So I think too, man, that's another thing for all guitar players out there. Think you're done working. You're never done working. And if you need an example, just look up young kid shreds on guitar on YouTube and go get humbled.
Right. Yep. And you'll find a million. Same thing with
Yeah,
Rubik's
yeah,
cubes and
million.
video games and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Dude, there's 6-year-olds that
You
made
know?
North Korea videos scare the hell out of me, man. You know,
Wow,
where
it's
it's like the
incredible,
guitar
man. They do
kids and
like 10 cubes in 10 seconds. I'm like, how in the wow?
because there's a
I couldn't
dude
even
with a
pick up 10
machine.
of those things in 10
There's a
seconds, and they're
dude with a
solving them. I'm
machine
like,
gun behind the
yeah,
board.
right?
That's why. Sorry, I don't know if we'll get flagged for saying that kind of stuff. But you know, I think that's to another
Nah,
whole
man,
nother.
it's an open forum, bro.
So watch the North Korean kids, man, ripping on guitar like, you know, in tutus. And it's like mind-boggling.
Yep.
And you're like,
Yeah, it's
I gotta go
incredible,
back to
man.
work. Yeah. Gotta go back to
Yep.
work.
Awesome, man. So, speaking of that ripping guitar playing, man, what's next for Cultivated Mind, man? As far as the shows, I know you got some. I know you're going to be here in Florida for a cannabis festival at Renegers, I believe, which is pretty neat. I'm excited about that. What else you got coming up, man?
Yeah, again, big shout to Renegers Market and Zick Productions, man, for always getting us back, and Space Camp for helping us make that link. So I want to start with that. In August, I believe it's 5th, they're going to be dropping their new album, and I got to do a lot of the instrumentation, help build some of the beats. I'm featured on one of the tracks.
Beautiful.
There's a main producer, and I don't know his name, so when we do some more promos, I'll make sure I get his name out there as well, the mastering engineer. But he did a killer job too. And so I got to do keys on some of the hip hop tunes, did a couple backing tracks, and even got to feature on one. So that's going to be coming out from Space Camp. It's called Concrete Beach, and they're doing pre-sales or pre-orders right now. So check that out on Spotify. But yeah, really hyped for that one, man. That's, like I said, August 5th. I think that's going to be dropping. Love those guys, and thanks for getting me to Florida Space Camp and Pennsylvania. You guys rule. Also, going to be having some tracks coming out pretty soon with some other local cats, man. 7 Vibe Syndicate. Those guys have brilliant writing skills when it comes to lyricism, man. And big up to Ian and Josh and CJ and Rusty and the whole crew. And I think Mink is jamming with them now. So I'm happy to get those out as well. I got some stuff coming out with Tony Chambers, the Rub It Up champion. That's going to be coming out soon, called Horn Man. That's one of his classics that he sings a lot. If you ever come to our shows and catch Tony Chambers, he's dope. And like I said, I've got some new stuff coming out soon with Gabe Diaz of United Souls, Lost Soul Society. I love both of those bands immensely.
Yep.
Those are my boys. And so we're going to be releasing some tracks and doing some shows around locally. So September 5th, we're going to have all those guys together again that were at Point Break. They're going to be at Stuffed in Hampton, which is one of our favorite spots to play. It's a big blues venue. People who know blues in the area or came up learning blues, that was your college. That and the Big Pink train station and Old Town Tavern, that like hub right there was really where blues lived and still does in Hampton Roads. So we're happy to go play there with the full band, and that's going to be TC's birthday, to September 5th.
Beautiful. Shout out, TC. Woo.
Yeah, we put him on the big drum kit again. So for his
That's
birthday.
awesome.
So, yeah, so September 5th we're there, and then I want to give a big shout out to Jason Moodley, who is 508 Productions and works up north with like Joe Samba and a lot of those guys, Massachusetts, Rhode Island. So also big up Joe Samba for letting us jam with you, and great set the other night at
Yes,
at
beautiful.
Camp Kevin Fest. Yeah, man, Elephants Dancing put on a great set. Dragged us out there, got us out the swamp, man. Big up to Danny and those guys too. Ashley put on a great set. It was a good day of music, man. And
That's incredible.
so we did that. We're going to higher education, and we're going to be a headliner on one of the
That's
stages on Friday
beautiful.
night, which is nuts. Playing the same night as Mahali and Sundub. That's Friday night. That's going to be August, I think,
Love
15th,
Sundub.
16th. Yeah, they're cool, man. They've been reaching out to a little bit about gigs, and like I saw them, I think One Earth last year, and they blew the roof off, man.
They're
There was
incredible.
no roof because it was outside, but you get what I'm
Right.
saying. That was a dope show, and
Yeah, their lead singer Joanna, she's something else, man. I love her. They're just the whole band's incredible.
yeah, we've met a couple times, man. But I hope we get to do like an official show together down the road. That would be sweet. Other than just festival vibes, but maybe get into a venue. That'd be cool. They've been super nice about reaching out. It just hasn't linked up timing yet. But I definitely want to get up with them.
Right.
Just nice vibe and East Coast people. I dig it. But yeah, that's a big one is the Higher Education Fest. So big up to Higher Education, the whole crew, the band, the people, the organizers, Jason for getting us on that one. And we're doing the after party the 16th. So we got a whole slew of gigs thanks to Jason, who's been really helping us out recently. So that'll be August 16th. Please, it helps us out, and I usually don't do these pitches, but on our Instagram, a couple of the posts have links to where you can specifically go and support Cultivated Mind and say that you're getting tickets to go see them. Since we've always kind of been out in left field, that stuff does kind of help. So thanks ahead of time. If you are going, please grab
Absolutely.
from that link, or one of our buddies that's playing too. I know Fortunate Youth is going to be there. We love those guys. Marlon Asher, I'm real hyped to see. So this
Shout
is gonna
out,
be, I
yeah,
haven't
Club
seen
14
Mahali
Youth.
yet. Yeah, man, they've been real solid to us over the years. Greg and Dan and the whole crew. Travis,
Yes.
can't say enough about those guys, man. But yeah, we're gonna have some family out there, which will be really sweet. So make sure you come out for that. That's August 15th, 16th, and then last end of run in August. Somebody you talked about Florida people, man. Ricky Belufe and somebody I met when he brought me down to come play some shows was a girl named Emily Mad Mello, who's been putting out kind of like it's like a mix of like reggae and almost like Nora Jones meets Jack Johnson meets
Right.
kind of like modern reggae at the same time feel mixed with that. So very much on the singer-songwriter vibe. I really liked her voice and what she was doing. She said she wanted to come down. So August, the last 3 days of August, man, I think it's 28th, 29th, and 30. We're going to be playing at Oceans Olay or Oceans 14. Same kind of venue. They're attached at the same building. That's going to be the last day, the 30th. I know that we're playing at Shaka's in Outer Banks the 28th, and I know the 29th. I got to double check that one, but we're doing a 3-day run with her while she's down here. So make sure you come and kick it with us and come see her while she's in town. Florida people are
Beautiful.
great to us. We're trying to get some Florida people up to Virginia too, so I'm excited for that one as well. And then, like I said, November 3rd, man, we're doing Cannabis Festival. We're trying to bring Jordan and TC for that one, and hopefully I'm working out maybe
Yes.
bringing Queese. And then
Can't
later
wait.
in July, this month, I'm going to be playing up in Maryland. Grade 8s is putting on an acoustic bonfire session with Joey Harcum and Michael Sky. Me and Vinny and Vince Lee. And,
Nice.
TC are going to pack up the ride and go do an acoustic show, so come out and support that one. And then trying to think. Oh, last one I almost forgot. One Love. One Love is a big festival we have in town. It's put on by the Mighty Mighty Rio and Scott Compston. Scott is like, he's an unsung hero, man. And when I first did the solo stuff, even before I had a band, man, he was having me open for his crew. They really don't get enough credit for how, first off, phenomenal they sound. It's like if you put Mighty Mighty Boss Tones and Queen in the same band and it worked. And
Right.
it's brilliant how they pull this stuff off and make the transitions go so smooth. I really, really love Rio, and like I really don't think they get enough shout out because they're a little bit more on the blended side of things and don't play either strictly reggae or strictly barroom rock. They have their own thing going, but they're a fantastic band, and they put on this festival called One Love every year with a guy named Corey too. Big up to Corey, and they always make sure to put like a heavy hitter from the neighborhood in as the headliner. We've had United Souls been there. Rio did it once. It's brings everybody together, man. Vince Lee, Nature's Child, One Culture. The whole crew usually plays this thing, which is fantastic. So if you've never been to the Virginia or southeastern Virginia, Hampton Roads, Virginia Beach area, and you haven't really like caught the scene much, it's a perfect day to do it. because it's everybody, really everybody. Our vendors, the guests you see pop on the mic, Tony Chambers, Jordan Weekly, those guys will be there doing their thing too. Josh Josta is usually there performing and running a booth with his art. Fantastic artist as well, man. So I think if you needed a good one, Lost Souls always puts on a great show, and they usually have the full squad there too. So United Souls always has the full squad there too. I think this year they might be not able to make it, but United Souls, we're going to grab a few of their other members and throw them in our set and do what we can to get everybody in. But you're going to see a lot of like familiar faces, or if you're not from this area, you're going to find a lot of people that you really dig and will end up becoming fans of, because we do have great bands here. Native Dread, tons and tons of awesome crew. So that's kind of what I would say too, is if you need a good introduction, I think it's October 3rd. That's going to be in Newport News, and that's One Love Reggae Fest in Rio, R-I-O. Scott Compton. It's a little TV with white noise on it, and it says Rio. That's their emblem. Make sure you check them out. Go peep their music on Spotify. Do yourself a favor and broaden your horizons musically, man. They're definitely a dope crew.
Nice, man. That's a beautiful thing, bro. And yeah, you're exactly right, man. If you want a good introduction to a really, really kick-ass community and some really good music with a lot of great musicians, VB is the place to be. Absolute fact, man. 100%. That's a beautiful thing, man. So, thank you so much for all that, buddy. Is there any one last thing? I know we pretty much went through everything, man. So I've been asking people this lately. I know the world's there's a lot of stuff going on. You know what I mean? Politically, spiritually, just a lot of shifts going on that are kind of strange to a lot of people, man. What's one word of advice you could give everybody? You know what I'm saying? What's a nice little piece of hope or enthusiasm you could throw people's way right now, man?
One thing I will say is, there's trends that people see in bad stuff that we don't see in good stuff. I think right now anybody who's an American and has a little bit of common sense can see that, like, anytime they start taking away cultural things or removing holidays and stuff like that, it's kind of a sign of bad things to come. In the past, they remove your names, your culture, whatever they can do to try and get you to be a little bit less of yourself and an amalgam of whatever they need. And I'm gonna stop saying they. We'll talk government. And I think as much as sometimes a lot of us are looking at what is happening right now and the muzzle they're trying to put on us, people don't do that unless you're powerful or you're strong or you have something. People don't take or snuff out things that they aren't intimidated by. So what I will say is the backbone of what makes real American culture and the many different roots that come together to make this plant they call America, that is a new country compared to many countries in this world. I think as much as people try and snuff things out, and that's what they put in the news, as how much things are getting snuffed out, blocked out, mistreated, I think it's also kind of indicates how strong the real culture of America is, the people that make it up, and how powerful the communities that might be individual or based on ethnicity or religion or whatever, but we do have strong communities here. We do have people who are willing to speak up and fight against things. And I think anytime you have a bully, it's because the bullies are intimidated. And anytime you have somebody that's trying to shut you up, it's because you're saying something smart. And so I think for a lot of like what's happening right now in the country, people can see this a couple ways and maybe see this as people trying to silence folks or whatever. But if anything right now, we're kind of separating real people from not real people. And we're separating people who give a shit from people who don't give a shit. And so as much as right now may seem hectic, folks, it's also a time for you to stand up. It's a time for you to speak up. If there ever was a time for you to defend your people, where you come from, your neighborhood, your roots, whatever it is, this is the time to do it. And it's because those things are strong, and they wouldn't take away your culture or change the vowels on your name or tell you can't drum and communicate or tell you whatever it is, you got to go to this school or follow. They wouldn't tell you those things if they weren't scared of the pride and power that it gives you. And I know this sounds kind of cheesy, but you carry things in your veins and in your hands and your arms and your brain and everything else that come from your ancestors and the people that went through whatever they had to go through to get you here. And so you are strong, folks. You got to learn how to tap into what it is, whatever it is that got you where you are, and believe in yourself and believe in the people that push to get you where you are. So as much as times seem really, really hectic and harsh, it also, anytime that ugliness rises, it's because good people are also on the rise. So my mom used to say, the devil doesn't need to turn already corrupt people. The devil goes
Right.
after good people. So as
That's
crazy as
it.
things may get, it also means that there's good people out there working really, really hard, or the devil wouldn't raise his head at all. So as much as they try to
Amen.
snuff you out, don't let them. As much as people may stand up to kind of give you crap, don't let them. And as much as people try and tell you who you are, or define you, or put you in a box, don't let them. All right? Stay powerful. Speak for the good people. Don't let other people speak for you. And that's kind of like my take on what's going right now in the world. As ugly and crazy as it may seem, it's because there must be some good people out there pushing real hard, like you, Mr. Scotty. You know?
Amen. Well, thank you so much, man. 100%. And that's what it's all about, brother. Standing up for who you are, fighting for, what's right. And, not letting anybody else tell you any different, because, if you come from a place of love, you come from a place of compassion, you come from a place of truth and seeking the truth, then you do know exactly what's right. You do know what you should be doing. And if anybody tells you any different, well, they're the ones who are wrong, man. And on that note, I will say thank you so much for coming on, brother. It's an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Great monthly. Like I said, ran into the things that happened with my with my mother. May she rest in peace. But this episode will be coming out within the next couple of days, and we will be back on track. First Monday of every month, Cultivated Mondays with Cultivated Mind. Thank you so much, man. It's always a pleasure. Absolutely love talking to you. Always learn something brand new when I talk to you, man. It's a beautiful thing. I know we talk on the phone probably every day, but it's great having you on the podcast, man. To get that, to just, hear you talk and get your insight, man, is an absolutely beautiful thing. So thank you so much, brother. Much appreciated, much love. So there is strength in unity. Build your community. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok. Shoot me an email, hippiefarirreggae@gmail.com, and check out my website, hippiefari.podbean.com. And this is Scotty, the high-strung hippie, and Kira, the Irie Empress, reminding you to speak your mind before somebody else does it for you. Like Tony was just saying, do something nice for somebody today. Grab flowers for your partner. Smoke out a stranger. Slip the homeless man a buck. But whatever you do, do it from the heart, because all good things start with the heart. Peace, love, and Rasta rhythms are all a part of that reggae revolution. One love, fam.